Do you find that your audience has a lot of people who maybe have that mix like I do of either the cultures or the languages, or
That my audience?
right, or is it just purely Japanese audiences, American audiences?
I don't know how many Hapas there are out there. So it was interesting meeting somebody like, you're like, oh, just like me. And I guess, you were drawn to my music because there's just not a lot of music out there like this, because there just aren't a lot of people like us out there. So, I mean, I'm part of the Facebook Hapa communities, but I don't necessarily know if they're all fans of my music. I think at the moment, because I was still doing a lot of music in Japan, a lot of my fans are Japanese, but I'm hoping that, I know that I have a point of difference here in the US because I do have this different language and different culture. So when I sing in Japanese at an American venue, they're like, what is that? Yeah. So, I mean, it's fun. It's fun being able to bring that. I am not aware of how many Hapa fans I have, but come on, can we go to the track? And I played the Hapa tour recently.
Right.
At the Troubadour with Miko and Mario Ghibli. That was amazing. I mean, I've just noticed there are so many Hapa artists here in the US, and so I've kind of been following them, and I did get to open for Maria and Miko the other day. So that was really cool. I don't think, there were a few Hapa people in the audience, but I don't think everyone was. The performers were, I don't think all the audience were.
Right. So, you mentioned how you kind of discovered the Hapa identity fairly recently. So it sounds like you've embraced that term. I do know, there are a number of other terms out there, and I wondered, especially in your case, you are a little different than me, and obviously you're not Japanese American, Japanese New Zealander. How do you identify, and how do you feel about some of these other identities? Like another one I like is hafu in Japan. Yeah,
the hafu term I've always known and had with me. I don't really refer to myself as hafu unless somebody asks me, oh, are you hafu? And I'm like, oh yeah, I am. I'm not really too attached to anything. So some people say, my kids aren't hafu, they're double. I'm like, well, okay, whatever makes you happy. So I guess I just see myself as mixed. When I go to Japan and I say, hi, I'm, and people ask me, where are you from? I'm like, okay, long answer, short answer, long answer, short answer. And the short answer would be New Zealand, and they go, oh, okay. Long answer would be Japan, and they're like, oh. And they go, oh, you're hafu. So, it's like, okay, but you're not really like Japanese. Yeah. Okay, you're like half, okay. So I'm like, yeah, I guess, it's fine. So when I was 5, I moved to New Zealand. Couldn't speak a word of English. So I guess the kids saw me as a Japanese, they were like, Japanese foreigner, come here from foreign land. And so I remember I was using a fork or like a spoon or something, and they were like, wow, you can use a fork! Yeah, it was funny.
アメリカに見つかられない和食は一番ミスすることはある？
でもアメリカではもうほとんど食べれるかな。そう、ロスはすごくいい。何でもなんか食べれちゃう。日本にいた時より和食作ってるかも。家で。
まあね、じゃあ日本で行く時、ニュージーランドとかアメリカの食べ物見つからないものありますか？
なんかサラダがなかなか食べれない。
そうですね。
アメリカってすごいごっついサラダ。もういろんなものが入って、フルーツも入ってたり、ナッツとかもいろんな具が入ってるサラダってあんまり日本にない。
What's one thing that, especially if someone may be visiting any of your 3 countries you've now spent a lot of time in, what's the one thing that everyone should try and see in the US, New Zealand, and Japan?
ニュージーランドは Hobbiton, of course. 日本は渋谷 Shibuya is great, I love it. そしてアメリカは私もまだアメリカのいろんなところには行ってないけど、アメリカのどこか行くんだったらもうなんか例えばアイオワ州の何もない道なんかこのアメリカの広さを感じるには何にもないどこかに田舎のどこかに 行った方がこれがアメリカなんだって感じられるんじゃないかな。はい、ツアーでもう車で、クリーブドンまで行って帰ってきて、ワイオミングのなんていうの The speed limit is 80 miles an hour みたいなところを運転して、すげえ Drive at your own risk.
Yes.
Yeah.
And now I finally have a reason to walk away.